Drinking at Mo's, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's all so mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinking at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinking at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, no, it's a scream.
Oh, shit, we're here. Okay.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Hey, Drinking a Mo's, my 2 cents. Big Mo here, Nate here.
That's
you
me.
know the drill. You know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass. Go, you know what to do with a like button. Go out, get yourself one of those skateboards with the thumbtacks on the bottom, like your Darby Allin, and whack it over the head. And you know what? Before we get going too far, you know what I realized the last set of recordings we did? I forgot this. Disclaimer. This show is the opinions of the 2 people speaking, and that's it. We're not affiliated with anybody. Yeah. Now that shit's out of the road.
I missed the disclaimer.
Yeah, I missed that one too on the last set. So today we thought, why not spread the love? Because, there's all sorts of wrestling podcasts out there, not called Drinking at Mo's. And we figured, we're going to share our thoughts on some of the ones we think are the best ones that aren't us. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to think so. I know I got to say this because I've actually had some people from, one person from Fightful on. I'm trying to get more. But literally anything Fightful does, whether it's on their podcasts through the paywall on Patreon or on their regular channels, some of the most reliable news when you're wanting wrestling related news, but also their recap shows for just about every wrestling show known to man. They just some of the best ones. I particularly enjoy the SmackDown post show because, well, I've had one of the hosts on the interviews, but also their NXT post shows, the Sour Graps with Alex Pulowski and Miss Kate. Like, to the way they run that with they have different wrestling related puns that they do.
Right.
They theme them towards different stuff and do impressions, singing different songs because, well, let's just say it. NXT is one of those shows that I have said when it comes to the post show, why would I waste my time watching the actual show when I can get more entertained by watching the post show?
Yeah, true.
Literally anything Fightful does, I'm a fan of. I got nothing but respect for any of those guys.
I might have to check that out.
Oh yeah, I suggest them for sure.
Now, is it under Fightful?
Fightful, yeah. You just search Fightful on YouTube or any of the audio platforms, and yeah, you'll probably find them.
Yeah. So, I guess a little caveat onto this here. When I was trying to find something to listen to, because a lot of stuff that we've done, I've already listened to. A lot of it's kind of hard to find something that will pique my interest long enough for me to actually continue on, the 5.5-hour drives that I have. So, and it was actually this show here is my brainchild. So I'm going to caveat this because I was trying to find something to listen to, and I actually came across a podcast that was, Well, I'm not there right now, so I can say it. That was a Minnesota Vikings um what's the word, celebration, whatever you want to call it. It's just a podcast about the Vikings. And all I heard on there was a lot of choking and whatnot. I'm kidding. I thought the Green Bay Packer dude would actually enjoy that one.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, before I
Oh, my
not to
bad.
interrupt you too much, everybody already knows the news about my wife and I expecting a little boy here soon.
Mhm.
I actually went, and they're not going to be able to wear it too long because it's a newborn one.
Mm.
But I actually bought a onesie that says "Too cute to be a Vikings fan." I
That
had to.
works. Yeah.
I had to.
So in my process of trying to find something to listen to, I came across this. The Dark Side of the Ring Unheard.
Mm.
Basically what it is, and I've actually got it pulled up here, so because I keep forgetting the name of the guys that are doing it. So, but
Yeah.
it's ran by, and I'm going to read it here, word for word. It's creators of the Vice show, Dark Side of the Ring, and co-host of the Lapsed Fan podcast. I have not listened to this, but I have not listened to them. I'm going to start listening to them once I get through everything. But basically, it's Evan and Jason, along with the Lapsed Fan podcast guys, which are, hold on, Jack and Carcino, known. I'm American. I can't read Spanish. And JP Sorrow. And basically, they just pick certain. Can you hear the train? I'm sorry.
I can't.
I'm in an area where they got trains, and I'm hearing it in my headphones. But basically, they just pick certain things. Wow, pick certain subjects. Like the first one I heard was Jerry McDevitt. You know who Jerry McDevitt is?
Mm.
Some
You might
lawyer.
have to remind me. Like if I hear stuff about him, I probably remember.
He's the lawyer of one VKM.
Oh yeah.
Now they were talking about the steroid trial.
Oh yeah.
And this was actually recorded before everything else was going on. They had to put their own disclaimer on this show. But it's like an hour long of just one person from the entire they're on what, season 5 right now? Or just finished up with season 5?
Just finished. Yeah, I think they're planning season 6 now.
Right. But it's just, they'll pick, the last one I listened to was Tony Atlas, I think.
Mm.
They pick one person. They don't even have to have a show about it. But they'll pick one person. Like I said, last one I listened to was Tony Atlas. And they took all of his audio from the very first Dark Side episode, which was about Bruiser Brody.
One of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and that's actually it's one of those that got me to go, I'm going to keep listening.
Speaking of that one in particular, somebody I just finished putting together his episode for the interviews. He's actually been over to Puerto Rico quite a bit. I mean, he's been over to freaking Thailand. He's been to the UK. But one of the times that he told me about Puerto Rico, just to really play the heel, I guess, he wore a shirt that said, both in English and in Spanish, "Justice for Brody."
Oh.
He's already had people tell the promoters that they ever bring him back, he might not make it back home.
Well, from everything that I've been hearing about that whole situation, and good God, you're looking, it's over 30 years ago. And apparently it's still something that's so relevant that even today, if you were to call and, just to do research, you're told, don't call here.
Doesn't surprise me.
So it's kind of like, that there's something, you just not sure if you really want to touch it.
Yeah. One of those, I'm gonna stay over here.
You do you. I'll be over here.
Yeah. But no, that one sounds like one I might have to.
Oh yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's not, when I first saw it, it's like, oh, so we're just going to do an entire episode. But no, it's just they pick one person. They don't even have to have a show about them. The majority of them, they do have shows, and they'll just pick and choose certain spots, like the highlights,
Yeah.
like the Marty Jannetty one. Oh God,
I still yet to actually watch that episode.
that's 45 minutes to an hour that I'll never get back in my life, because you want to talk about batshit crazy. Good God.
You know, funny enough, the last independent show I ever went to when I was before I left the Navy,
Mhm.
Marty Jannetty was actually on.
One of the things they said, and I might get this wrong, was okay. So we all know the story about the Rockers. You know, they first come in from W to WWE, WWF from AWA, and within what 2 weeks they're fired for their partying,
Oh yeah.
and then they wound up getting back to the good graces of the boss. They're brought back, but there comes a time when the partying has to stop. And unfortunately, from my understanding, Shawn Michaels was able to get his partying under control. Marty Jannetty wasn't. Shawn Michaels is now considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and Marty Jannetty is Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
What would have happened? What would have happened if it was the other way around? You really? It sounds weird for me to sit there and go, Marty Jannetty is considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Mr. WrestleMania.
Oh God. Thinking about him coming down that zip line like Sean
Oh God. I, yeah. So that's one of mine. I just found it within the last week. So, oh yeah, I'm enjoying that one so far.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
What else?
check.
What else you got?
I know there's one that I mean, I was completely flattered when somebody actually compared me to this guy because
Ooh,
when you think of great podcast interviewers or just content creators in general when it comes to wrestling, and hell, he's even in pop culture stuff too. But Chris Van Vliet,
ah, yes.
his insight with Chris Van Vliet stuff,
Hmm.
dude, top notch.
Oh hell yeah! And it's
And
one of
hell, the
those.
damn guests he's able to get, like, god damn, I wish I'd be able to get anywhere near that. Like, I'm flattered to get some of the names that I've been able to get, and
Hmm.
be able to share people's stories that might not necessarily get the coverage if not for
And it's like something that we have noticed. We go to Revolver, and you talk to some of the guys that are contracted through TNA.
yeah.
Hey, we have a podcast. Would you mind being on the show? You have to go through our TNA media division before we can even discuss it. You got
Which
something like
I
that.
don't want any of them getting in trouble, which it
Yeah, yeah.
seems like the TNA ones are a little easier to get a
Hmm.
hold of than like
Or
AEW or
or
WWE.
or like the one of the ones that you did in the early years. God, God, the name is slipping my mind already. With Ring of Honor,
With
Corey Silkin,
Oh, Kerry Silkin, yeah,
Carrie Silkin. There you go.
guy that used to own it.
Yeah. So you interviewed him, but it was that you had it set up. AEW buys Ring of Honor. He essentially becomes an AEW employee, and it's like, okay, are we allowed to do this?
Yep,
So it's
and
like,
he told me specifically to just not advertise it beforehand,
mhm,
and that he because he had already promised me that he'd do it,
right.
that we're going to go ahead and do it. And I'm like,
See, it's
if
like
that's
that,
all it takes, shit.
and what you did it, but he's an AEW employee. It was already set up before that all happened. So, I'm pretty sure you have to jump through a myriad of hoops to get an AEW guy, WWE guy. But here's Chris, who's able to just talk to these people.
And I mean, he's got one hell of a following, so
He does.
he's got his ways to, get in there a little easier than somebody like myself. Which I'm not criticizing him or nothing.
Oh hell no.
He has done great, and he has been able to do what he's been able to do, and goddamn, he does a good job of it.
God damn.
Yep, he does a good damn job of it.
Oh, one of the, besides, the dark side one that I just found. I also listened to AEW Unrestricted.
Oh, that is a good one.
Back when it was Aubrey Edwards. Hey,
how did that go again? Aubrey Edwards and Tony
Aubrey
Schiavone.
Edwards, and back when it was Aubrey Edwards and Tony Schiavone when I started listening to it, and then I guess Tony wound up getting an office job. That's the rumor I've heard. He got an office job, and one of the other podcasts that I'll bring up, but he wound up doing that, and they brought in Will Washington, which I thought, who the fuck is Will Washington?
He used to work with Fightful,
and I've kind of picked up on that, and actually it's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, he does amazing work, and little known fact that I guess they don't really push out there too often. He's actually related to Swerve.
I heard something about that. He's like a cousin or a
cousin, something like that.
Cousin or nephew, something like that.
Yeah, but no, he does amazing work, and I'm like happy that he's getting.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'll listen to it. Comes out on Thursdays. The audio version comes out on Thursdays. Video version comes out like on, I don't know when.
Yeah,
I don't watch the video one. Says I watched it, unless there's something that pops up that I go, I need to check that out.
Yeah, no, I'm that way with certain other podcasts where it's like, I've already listened to the audio version, but if I they are watching something and I'm like, oh, I want to actually see their reactions to this or that. And yeah, no, I've definitely had something like that. I'm trying to think of other ones that I know of. Conrad Thompson, him and his ad-free shows network has a plethora of them.
Oh yeah, one of them that I was going to bring up was one of them I watch or I listen to religiously is What Happened When.
Oh yeah, the
with
one
Tony
with
Schiavone.
Schiavone. Yeah.
Now, I used to listen to, like I said, I listened to What Happened When. I used to listen to My World, and I realized that Jeff Jarrett's kind of boring when you're listening to him.
After so long.
Do what?
After so long.
Yeah, I don't need two Southern boys coming through into my ear holes, so no. Then there was Girl with JR. But then I guess JR, I haven't listened to that for a while. I used to listen to Arn, but Arn started putting me to sleep. And not because he's boring, but because his voice.
Yeah. When he's calm, it can be kind of.
Even when he was cutting promos in the NWA, he was just, you had to threaten to kill his family before he actually got any form of emotion.
When he got emotional, oh boy, did you pay attention to him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, when he's calm, I can see it.
Yeah, so I listened to those, and I listened to one of your favorites, Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard.
I don't mind him.
Well, I brought it up to you one time about something, and you're like, well, Bruce Pritchard, he constantly gets fired and this and that, yada, yada. It's when we first started.
Yeah. He ain't too bad, but
most of the time I listen to Tony Schiavone, and I'm like, because they do quote unquote watch alongs. And I just like to hear some of the stuff that, like, and to be honest, if they get bored, they'll do something else. They watched an ECW show. I swear to God, they watched. It was either a pay-per-view or it was an ECW TV before it went national,
Yeah.
and they got so bored with it that they actually started reading Pornhub comments, and that was the funniest shit I had ever heard.
But the other one that I enjoy out of theirs that is 83 weeks with Eric Bischoff.
Mhm.
And yeah, I used to give Conrad shit about how often he quoted Meltzer, but then I got it explained to me that it's like, okay, back when those shows were happening,
Mhm.
there wasn't really the the Fightfuls and the other places where you
Right.
can actually get reliable news.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm taking another dig at you know who.
You know
But-
what? To be honest, when you watch shows like like what happened when they start talking about they actually went a whole year where they would watch 1986 World Championship Wrestling from TBS in the studio, standing room only of 5, and he would Conrad would go, well, Meltzer said on this date, blah 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 blah, and there's a part of me that's like, why the fuck do you keep going to Meltzer? And then it dawns on me, it's in the 80s. The only person who's actually reporting on this is Meltzer.
True. And that's what got explained to me. And then I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Mhm.
But there's also the one thing I enjoy with Conrad is he has a way of putting some more positivity into different aspects of wrestling, and that is something that's sorely needed. Because yeah, we rag on different stuff, but it's not like we spend the whole episode doing that.
Right.
We try to give all aspects, and that sort of stuff, much like Conrad, I think is sorely needed.
Yeah, big time.
You can't just be positive all the time, but
Mm-mm.
You got to be able to acknowledge what's good and be able to acknowledge that stuff that just sucks.
So, yeah, and break off of that. Conrad will, it just depends on who he's talking to, where you get the positive reaction from Meltzer, or you get a negative. He'll do something with Eric Bischoff, and he'll be talking about something, and he'll turn around and go, as far as this show goes, Dave Meltzer sat there and gave it 2.5 stars for the show, and then Bischoff will go, I don't give a fuck what Meltzer has to say. That low rent jackass. And then you'll just hear Conrad Thompson go, now why you got to shit on him all the time? Every show. It doesn't matter if he's explained it 83 weeks in a row. He will still sit there and go, now why you gotta shit on the man? And then you turn around and you go to what something that what happened when with Tony Schiavone. They'll do the same thing, and she just hear Schiavone going, whatever. Meltzer gave this show 3.5 stars. He said the best match was this and the worst match was this, and everyone decided to say this match sucked, and he was like, whatever.
Yeah.
it's just,
yeah, no, I'm much when people bring up Meltzer to me, I'm like, why should I give a flying fuck what that dumbass says?
exactly.
Because like we've often said, wrestling is subjective.
Oh, hell yeah.
Somebody likes, somebody will hate. And we always say we're never gonna tell anybody whether to go to one show or another show.
No.
Find what you enjoy, and if you agree with what we say, cool. If you don't, hey, we're open to discussion.
Yeah. Explain to me why you think the particular analyst is a good analyst.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll sit there and go, but why?
Yep. Nope, I'm much the same. Although, yeah, we could get in a whole nother tangent on that shit. But just trying to think. Oh God. I used to listen to Talk is Jericho.
I have to.
Although the one thing that I do enjoy there is they do stuff not just wrestling, but with hell, I've heard stuff on. They had a flat Earth theory guy on one time, and they've had people that dealt with hauntings and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and different stuff talking about music, and it's like,
oh yeah, it's like one week. It's like one week he'll talk to, say, Darby Allin, and then the next week he'll talk to one of his, say the drummer from Fozzy, and then the week after that he might talk to, um, Britt Baker, and then the week after that. So now we're working on about a month after we start listening. So you got two wrestling, one music, and then there might be something else thrown in there, like the captain of the ship where they have the Jera Cruise.
yeah.
It's not all wrestling.
And
And
yeah,
I actually think
so
it's pretty cool.
Talk is Jericho. Yeah, they have different things where it's like, okay, it's not just a wrestling podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't hear them talking about it being a wrestling podcast. Yeah, they
Exactly.
have different people on from the wrestling world, but then they also have people from different angles of pop culture, different stuff like, the flat earth theory guy, or the freaking there was an Amityville horror episode where they talked to different people that deal with
paranormal,
the paranormal side of stuff. So it's a good one for more than just wrestling.
Yeah.
If you want one that maybe you're thinking you need a break from the wrestling side of stuff, they definitely give that to you there.
Yeah, that's and if there's a granted he'll Jericho will, of course, he'll push AEW, and he'll push Fozzy dates that are coming up, but he'll also a favorite band of his, or if somebody that has opened up for Fozzy in the past and they got on their own, if they're getting ready to start on their own tour, he'll sit there and push them too.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you check out Falling in Reverse. They're going to be in St. Louis on this date, and San Antonio on this date. He'll do that stuff. It's not unlike what you see on TV where
Mm-hmm.
it's the learning tree.
Oh God. That was actually a faction that was in TNA before.
Was it?
Yeah, with Brian Myers.
Was it before he became part of the system?
Yeah. This was like,
okay.
Yeah, this was
like this must be in between
years.
when they were Impact and TNA.
Yeah.
Okay. And
yeah, I forget how long ago it was, but yeah.
It wasn't that long. He had like a couple guys that were just up and coming, and then he went to the system, and didn't Bully Ray take those guys before Bully Ray stopped going to TNA?
I don't remember that far back.
Then I think they're called the Good Hands now, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, they were still known as Good Hands. I think one guy isn't in TNA anymore. Zicky Dice. He was with them. And I want to say somebody else, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
But you got any other ones that you can think of?
Not that I can think of. I mean, there's one that I know of, but we said not named Drinkin at most, so.
Yes. But yeah, no, anybody that wants to say that, whether my 2 cents or the interview stuff is anywhere near the caliber of any of these ones that we've mentioned, completely flattered, because when I started this off, I never thought I'd get even involved in the conversation with those guys. So the fact that anybody's even ever brought that up, totally flattered.
There you go.
But that is about all we got for this one. Hope everybody has a good rest of their week. Let's fucking go.
Let's go. Hit the button.
God, I'm trying to hit the fucking button.
Fucking shit.